What's poppin', dogs? Mr. Allen here, graphing a cubic polynomial in this video. But for this one, we're given one of the factors of p of x, which equals x cubed plus 5x squared minus 2x minus 24. And we're asked to use synthetic division and factoring to graph p of x. Because if you look at this, normally we're like, oh, 4 terms, factor by grouping. You can't factor this by grouping. So we got to use this one. We're going to divide it out of p of x. And if you divide out a linear from a cubic, you'll be left with a quadratic, which we should be able to factor based on these directions here and the fact that I wrote the problem and I can see the future. All right, so let's get after it. Synthetic division, we got to put -3 because it's x plus 3 equals 0. It's what x equals is the number I use for synthetic division. So -3. And then all of my coefficients here. 1, 5, -2, -24. And quick thing here, if you're ever missing one of the terms in between, make sure you put a 0 down. Otherwise, it will not work out, okay? Now, I've also seen some people do like a little box like this around the -3 and then a line here. Whatever floats your boat. I've done it that way. I recently started doing it this way. I don't know why they changed, but I saw people doing this. I was like, that's cool. All right, so let's go through it. Drop the 1. That's the first step. It's the only time you're going to do that. And now it's the same 2 steps over and over. Multiply -3 times 1. It's -3. Add these 2. That's +2. Multiply, that's -6. Add, that's -8. Multiply, that's +24. Add 0. Boom. So 0 is my remainder, which is what we should get, right? It should be 0. Because if this is a factor, it should divide out nicely with no remainder. Beautiful. If you got something other than 0 for your remainder, you either wrote this down wrong, perhaps you used 3 instead of -3. Maybe you made some kind of a little error along the way. Just double check that because you should get 0. Otherwise, something went wrong in this scenario, right? Because I said this is a factor. I didn't ask you if it was. I said it was. All right, enough of that. Now, this is my constant, my x and my x squared. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I can write this out as a quadratic, like so. And I want to find my other factors so that I can set it equal to 0, use the 0 product property, and solve. Well, what multiplies to -8 and adds to +2? That'd be x plus 4, x minus 2. So now I can set these two equal to 0. X plus 4 equals 0. Subtract 4, I get x equals -4. And then x minus 2 equals 0. X equals +2. So I've got all of my x-intercepts here. Let's write them as intercepts. Intercepts are always ordered pairs, okay? So I have -4, 0. We have, 2, 0, and then -3, 0. Don't forget the one that is given to you. That's how a lot of kids will lose like a half point or something like that because they forgot to write down the given one. Or they're like, I only have 2. What the heck? Now, what's my y-intercept going to be? Well, easy to find that from standard form because all zeros go in here. I'm left with -24, so 0, -24. All right, let's graph this thing up. Use a different color. Make it pop. 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, +2, and -3. And then we have -24. So I usually just pick somewhere on here. Usually we leave this y-axis unscaled for these. Makes it a little bit easier. And we'll put 0, -24. Mainly because the y-intercepts can oftentimes get very, very large on your polynomials. So having a scaled axis would be kind of inconvenient. All right. Now I'm ready to, I like to, kind of plan out my trajectory here. I'm going to come down a little lower over here. See if we can do it in one shot here. Woo-wee. Awesome. This is p of x. I'll go ahead and label it. Bippity boppity. All right, there we go, guys. So given a factor, or they could give you a 0. They could have just said, given that x equals -3 is a 0 of this function, it would have been the same process. Get down to your quadratic, use factoring, or sometimes quadratic formula comes into play, whatever it may be, but this was the situation where it can be factored. Then we can graph it, all good to go with x and y intercepts. Awesome. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you wanted this particular video made, let me know as well, and I'll do my best to help you guys out. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.